Richard Strauss's Don Juan is perhaps the most important excerpt to learn because it is on almost every audition list all over the world. This is because it's just basically it's very difficult, both technically and musically. The piece uses the entire range of the violin from low on the G string to very high on the E string, and it's a very fast tempo, so it's very difficult technically. And but in addition, there's very many musical details that we need to pay attention to, and characters that need to come out in a good performance. Intonation, again, is always important, but is especially difficult in this piece because of the high register that Strauss uses a lot. When we play up high, the distances are smaller, so we need to make sure that when we're up there, that the intonation is very tight, and all the half steps are close enough, and we also have to be careful that our vibrato is not too wide. If it's too wide up there, then it's very difficult to hear the intonation. So make sure that the vibrato is not too wide. Also, there are many big shifts and jumps which need to be extremely secure and accurate. So you need to always practice these very well and make sure that they're very just secure and solid. So that especially when you're a little bit nervous, these kind of things can be much more difficult to do well. So make sure that your shifts and jumps are all very, very, very secure. Another thing that's very difficult for this particular excerpt is the rhythm. While it is very fast and virtuosic, it is actually very important that we keep a steady tempo. Like I said, earlier, that this piece is our part is just a small piece of huge work, and there's many instruments and a lot of different lines and going on at the same time. So if we need to play very accurate rhythm and with a good steady tempo. Otherwise, when a jury is listening to you play this excerpt by yourself, we won't be able to actually imagine the piece going on while you play. So it's very important to keep very good rhythm and tempo. Oh, also, going along with the rhythm, when you play this excerpt, it's important to also count the rests. They're not that long. So, and there's other music actually going on during these rests. So, I think you should count them accurately, or even better yet, if you can, when you play, kind of try to imagine the other parts happening during the rests. And for any Strauss piece, sound is very important. And Strauss has a very particular sound, and his music is very rich, and the sound should be very full. And this piece in particular, it's Don Juan, so it has a very vibrant and energetic and heroic character. So we need to find a sound that can bring out this type of character. So the sound should be big, but without forcing, especially when we're high up on the E string. I see that's a mistake that many people make a lot of times. When we play high, and then the sound gets kind of tight and harsh, but we have to make sure that the sound is still always beautiful and not forced. Also, another common mistake that I see is that, when it goes along with the sound, is that sometimes people don't use the bow well, and sometimes this happens. We kind of move the bow too fast, and then we lose a lot of sound, especially when we get to the upper part of the bow. And but this music, we need to keep the sound throughout the bow. And also what happens with that is that we get a lot of unnecessary accents. And if we move the bow too fast, there's just too many accents, and then we lose a sense of the long line. And actually, if you look at the music, Strauss is actually very specific about where he puts accents. And So then it's important that we don't put accents where they're not written. I think so. This idea of how we use the bow is very important for this excerpt. Also, there are many small details if you look at the music, just with dynamics. There's, I spoke about the accents earlier, which are very important. And also there's all these small little swells or small crescendi, and we have to do all of these to kind of bring it out. And then I think this excerpt is kind of divided into two. There's the first part, which is the more technically challenging part, and then there's the second part, which is also difficult, but it's very different because there's our part, we have more rests, and also there's very many sudden changes of dynamic and character. And so I think when you play this, you need to have, you make a big contrast, make differences between, we have fortissimo and then next entrance might be pianissimo. And not only just a dynamic difference, but there has to be a difference in the character. So I think these are some of the main issues that you need to watch out for in this, very challenging excerpt, but it's a very important one to learn, so learn it well.